right. Hey, now it is Rob here from Rob School of Music, and we are live with our first DJ. We're featuring the incredible Christian Belvedere, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. This man is in the future, literally.
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for making this work. Like, you know, I can barely keep. I just learned literally the other day. I have a friend who lives in Arizona and a friend who lives in Chicago, and there are 4 time zones in the United States, but for some reason I had always thought there were 3. So I'm just to figure out a time zone where you're, you know, a day ahead of us. That was a lot to process. So I'm glad that we could work this out.
It took a little bit of time going back and forth, didn't it?
Yeah. And a special app that you had. I was talking to somebody to figure out the time. I was like, he had an app. There's an app for everything. So, you know, I'm psyched to have you because we've spoken, you know, to a lot of different guitar players and drummers and just other musicians, but very few people in the DJ space. And I think that that is probably one of the biggest, you know, instruments that people are interested in nowadays, is that side of things. To get to talk to someone, like, I guess a cool place to start would be, how did you get into it?
I got into DJing through my dad, actually. So he's a DJ, still is a DJ, and from a young age, I was doing functions with him, and we were doing weddings together. And yeah, I got into it at around, gosh, I think I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. You know, I'm in my late 20s now, and so it's been a while, and yeah, I got into it through that.
That's really cool. I think, you know, it's a similar story than most people would, you know, just go grab a guitar in their, you know, early pre-teens. And it's so cool that you were able to take that. And my dad's a musician too. My dad's a drummer. So I got into music because of my dad as well. So to kind of take that and now do it professionally, you know, you're playing, I see your stuff on Instagram, man. It looks like you are the life of the party.
Yeah, well, look, I like to put on a good show. I definitely like to entertain and put on a good show.
It definitely shows that way. And when this repost, I'll link up some videos and things, but, you know, beautiful people dancing, having a good time. Just really, it looks like, you know how to read the room, and you have your finger on the pulse of what's going on musically. And it's an art form, and it's really cool, you know, to speak to someone who is good at it, because there's certainly a lot of people out there who aren't great at it. So.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I put in a lot of effort on a regular basis to improve my skills. And I find that no matter what you do in life, there's always a way to improve and become better on that. And the better you can be, you know, the more people you can make happy in entertainment.
I completely agree, man. Very, very well said. So if someone was starting to, you know, let's say they just wanted to get into that world, and we're going to go down the giant rabbit hole of samples and sampling, because I think that's a whole separate art form unto itself. But what would be a great way to start, in your opinion? You know, what's some good equipment maybe to start with, or is it beat matching? Do they just jump right into scratching? Like, how does that all work?
Look, I think in terms of equipment, things have become a lot easier over the years. So to get into DJing now is a lot easier than it was, you know, 10, 20, 30 years ago. I would recommend starting off with any of Pioneer's controllers, Pioneer DJ. They are quite the industry standard, and they've been around a long time. A lot of their controllers work with a range of DJ software, and most people have got a laptop these days. So putting in a small investment into a controller from Pioneer, or even other brands like Denon, Newmark, it's always a good thing. And a lot of these companies have wanted to help DJs start out. So they're making their software a little bit cheaper on some ends, you know, basic versions, more advanced versions, it kind of depends. So, you know, investing in a little bit of DJ software and a controller, great idea. You can certainly practice and get your skills up that way. But the one thing I would always say to anyone is the number one thing a DJ has to do is, well, if you're in a club or a mobile DJ, radio DJ, a little bit different, but the one thing a DJ has to do is get people up dancing. That is the number one rule of being a DJ. Get your crowd up dancing. And over the years, I've noticed, you know, a lot of people getting into this craft, great beat mixers, great scratchers, excellent at beat juggling, great song selection, but they can't get people up dancing.
Mm.
And that's the key. Song selection's great because, they may think, these are some great songs that I love and that other people I know love, but people on the dance floor aren't vibing to it. So the number one thing, practice being able to get different crowds up onto a dance floor. Because without that, essentially all the other tools are useless. All the other things we use are useless. You can be a great beat mixer, and I've seen it before. A beat matcher, beat mixer. I've seen it before. Guys who are just spot on, but can't get a crowd up dancing.
When you're preparing your set, do you have it like if you're in a band, you put together first set, second set, third set, and you pace it, okay, during the first set, people still, if you're in a club or in a restaurant, people might still be eating. So it's a little softer. And then by the time you hit the second set, they're done eating. And the third set, they're completely liquored up and ready to go. When you're prepping your sets, is it a similar flow? If it's in a club, do you just hit them right from the start versus like if you're at a corporate event or something like that? Like, what is your prep for that?
Look, it really depends on the environment. So if we're talking about venues that have a restaurant early on, or a bar environment, a chill bar environment early on, and then the venue turns into a nightclub. If you're doing an early set where people are eating and just drinking and still coming in, keep the vibe smooth and chill. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, it's highly unlikely people are going to get up dancing at 8 or 7 o'clock at night. Again, depending on the environment you're in. So, in those settings, I like to keep things chill and soulful. I tend to play a lot of soulful house, stuck with upbeat, happy vocals. And then slowly you notice people will get into the mood. It's time to get up dancing and they'll loosen up and that sort of thing.
Cool. Yeah, so it's very similar to the way a band would prep it. I guess which makes sense because it's still music. We have a student here. His name is Ben, because we used to, when we had lessons in real life, because we've been fully virtual for the past 13 months now. But when we had in-person lessons, we had DJ lessons. And there's one particular student, Ben, DJ B, give him a shout out because I know it's kind of late for him now, but he'll definitely be watching this in the future. It was so cool because I was teaching Ben, just bare basic DJ stuff. But then he was doing gigs. Like he would DJ. He had a little, like a smaller controller, and then he graduated into a little bit of a bigger one, but he would be DJing at hockey games and just local events and stuff. And it was just so cool to see, a young person with their finger on that pulse. As you said, if you get it, you get it. And if you do it right, it's important. Getting people dancing. Very cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the one key, get them up dancing. Get them up dancing. And again, there's different environments. Maybe, you're DJing a gig where, the idea is not to get people up dancing, but to just create a nice chill vibe with your music. Right. And, if you see somebody sitting down just tapping their foot in that environment, you've done your job.
Yeah, totally. I think another question too, that a lot of people, when they see people up there, the DJ and everyone, I'll get to a whole nother tangent on it in a second, but how do you get all the songs? It seems like DJs have access to everything. Is it subscription based? Do you just load up your USB stick with everything you want to have that night? How does that work?
Yeah. So look, in terms of collecting music, it can take a very long time. There are a lot of music pools out there for DJs, which has been great over the years. And they are specifically for DJs. They provide edits for DJs. And so, yeah, a lot of those services, help out DJs and what they need to do. But also, we're in a great world of technology, but you can't get absolutely everything online. There's going to be times where, that music service does not have that song. iTunes, does not have that song. All the other sites do not have it. And what are your other options? Buy a CD, track down the vinyl of that song because it may be incredibly old or it was only released on vinyl, and record it off the record. So although technology is great that we can get almost anything online, you still need to, hunt down CDs, hunt down records, and any other way you can to get a high quality song.
Dude, I love that. I love that there's still tangible media component to it. Something here at the school is in our waiting area. We have a couch and a TV, and we'd always have concerts on. We also have like a record player, and I would have records playing, like legit vinyl records. And every so often, an elementary age kid would come in and go, "What's that?" I'm like, "That's music. That's music you can touch and feel and hold." So when I hear and see DJs, and I've seen you on your streams and stuff that you're putting on YouTube, you have the turntable there. You have access to getting the music, as you said, and that's just fantastic because it's truly limitless. There's so much stuff out there. I'm not a DJ who uses records in any capacity, but I collect music on vinyl, so I know the thrill of digging through the crates looking for that hard to find pressing that just has that version of it, that something is different that you can't find it anywhere else. I love that.
Oh man, it's absolutely great. And when you find that record you've been searching for ages, or you find that CD you've been looking for ages, it's just a great feeling. You've got physical media as well. You've got the song you can put digitally. It's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. There's something about just opening, even CDs. Like I recently bought a couple stuff. I do another stream on Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. called Record Talk it's myself and those two friends who live around the United States. And we review different albums that we've loved over our lifetimes. And a couple of them I repurchased on CD, and I'm like, I'm probably the only guy, maybe we're the only two guys, in 2021 still buying a CD just to get it, to open it, to look at the credits, to touch it, to feel it, to smell it. I just think that's so cool.
I absolutely love flipping through the credits on a CD in the booklet. Which recording studio was it recorded at?
Yeah.
Who wrote the lyrics? Who produced the track? Other people involved, and who did the mastering? Who did the mixing? And you find out some interesting stuff, and it's a great thing.
Completely, dude. Like when a lot of the musicians I've interviewed, my whole philosophy is if you want to be a musician and make it your life, make it your career, we all want to be the next Eddie Van Halen or John Mayer or whoever you're idolized. But the reality is, as a musician, that's like becoming a professional baseball player. Like you could be the best in the world, but if it's not the right time in the right place, it might not happen. But music is such a brilliant thing that you can do other things. And for me, looking through those liner notes and saying, wow, this guitar player played, like Steve Lukather, he's a guitar player, plays in Toto, but he's all the rhythm guitars on the entire Thriller record, Michael Jackson. So it's like, this dude is everywhere. And it's like, I want to be him. Like, I don't care if I'm the guy on stage that everyone knows my face. I want to be the guy that everyone listens to because they're hearing something they don't know. That's me here. That's me here. That's me here. Very cool.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry, I fidget with the microphone a lot. Sam yells at me for that. I don't know why I do that. So I'm trying to play with this pen so I don't play with the microphone. So speaking right. of the music and where it comes from, sampling, which is really what I wanted to get into the meat and potatoes of with you. I saw this, it was on YouTube and it blew my mind. It was the band, The Prodigy, and it was one of their songs. I think it was Breathe, I think is the song, or maybe Firestarter. I can't remember, but the entire song was constructed of samples from other songs. And I had no clue. I just thought, this song came out when I was in like 7th grade and I thought it was a band, but it wasn't. And then I saw you post something about the Dua Lipa song. I'm like, oh my God, I got to talk to Christian about this because he gets it. So maybe you could explain how people, first of all, what sampling is, and then maybe some cool examples of it.
Yeah, cool. So sampling is taking a snippet of an original song and pasting it into a new track. That's what sampling is. So it could be a vocal, it could be a drum beat, it could be absolutely anything. In some cases, it's, whole songs. But that's what sampling is. And, with the Dua Lipa one, that's kind of a sample, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Interpolation.
Yeah.
So an interpolation being, recreating a part of a recorded song and putting it in your track. So, sampling is a great thing. it can be used in many great ways, and it has over the years in so many tracks. But I guess the one thing to do is use it in the right way, and having artists' permission and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, look, some noticeable samples. Actually got together a list. Break My Heart, Dua Lipa, which we were talking about. That's Need You Tonight, In Excess. That's an interpolation.
Which, dude, like, right. I have taught people the In Excess tune many times. I love that guitar part. I love the funky, jangly kind of thing. That's my favorite type of guitar playing. And I've taught people the Dua Lipa song. And the whole while teaching him the Dua Lipa one, I'm like, this is familiar, but I couldn't place it. And when you put that video out, I'm like, oh my God, like just all the light bulbs went off, because it's brilliant. Really. It's a repurposing of something in a modern way. So yeah.
Yeah. It's an absolutely great tune. And when it came out, I heard it the first time. I was like, In Excess. That is just brilliantly done. And it adds a freshness to the song as well, because there's been some small bar gigs I've done, and I played the Dua Lipa track, and I just mixed in Need You Tonight, In Excess straight after it, and people have gone, wait, hang on a sec. Wait, isn't this? Oh, geez, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know. I mean, look, another big repurposing of a tune at the moment is My Head and My Heart, Ava Max. Have you heard that one?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's Around the World by ATC. It's from the 2000s. It's a 90s Eurodance, late 90s Eurodance track. And again, repurposed beautifully, just the melody and everything about it. So yeah, it's great to see old songs coming back with a freshness, being reused with some freshness,
Now, when it happened, there was something else? Oh man, what song was it? There's a 5 Seconds of Summer had a song recently. It was like the lead single off their newest album, which I can't remember the name of right now, but it had like something in the chorus sounded so similar to a different song. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And then I looked it up, and they gave the songs like I love you always, forever, near and far, closer together.
Yeah.
And, there was just a little bit of where they comped the melody off her song, which isn't really sampling, I guess, but they borrowed something and repurposed it, and she got a writing credit for it. So when someone is, whomever put together either of the Ava Max or the Dua Lipa tune, I'd imagine they're giving credit, some sort of the publishing or something, to the original writers that they used the music from, hopefully.
Yeah. You do need to give some sort of credit. There's the rules about it. I can't remember specifically the list of rules, but even if you're taking another artist's song and giving your own spin on it without taking an actual sample, you do need to credit them in some way. And besides following the rules, it's always nice. You don't want to steal somebody else's work. They've put a lot of hard work into it. It is their song, and it's nice to do. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Any other big ones?
Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of 5 Seconds of Summer, I can't remember which song it was, but I think one of their older tracks, I think they may have sampled something from Duran Duran.
I believe it.
Yeah. I can't remember what track it was, but they did sample something, and it's great to see. The 70s and 80s are coming back.
Yeah, and as like one of the teachers here, Nick, he's in college now for a music major, and it's like the disco bass and all the funky guitars, like that's real hot right now, which as a musician who likes stuff on the dancier side but still guitar based, it's like really exciting to see, because it allows me to have a place as primarily a guitarist to create music that in turn a DJ can play in a club and people want to dance, versus guitar being, no, there's no guitar in dance music at all. And it's exciting. It's an exciting time for music.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you have any other samples?
Yeah, yeah. A few other samples. Wild Thoughts, DJ Khaled. Do you know the sample of that one?
Mm-mm.
Maria Santana.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah.
That was a great noticeable one for me when that came out because at venues I was playing Maria, and the whole club loves it. And Wild Thoughts came out, and it was just whoa.
So, dude, there's a great example of it happening too, because I didn't know the DJ Khaled song by name, but I'd heard it, and immediately I recognized the Maria. So the Santana song made me know what you were talking about, even though I couldn't tell you who that song was by, off the top of my head. So having these interconnectors where you're pulling something out of the collective subconscious of the world and just sticking it in something new, it's kind of a clever way to get people to pay attention to something.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's going to be people who are going to look for the original song as well. They're going to look for how it was created, and wow, that guitar riff, and they'll even explore the original artist with all their other work too.
Yeah, it just
So
truly.
it's great. We've got another one. We got now here's an interesting one. I don't know if you've heard "Sunshine Delight" by Fat Joe and DJ Khaled. That samples Never Too Much, Luther Vandross, and Rihanna, Kiss It Better. And that's an interesting one because that came about, the way that song came about was from a DJ putting together mashups online. And he's actually credited in the song. His name is Amorpheus, I believe that is. Amorpheus, DJ Amorpheus. And he was putting together mashups online, and he just so happened to do it with Never Too Much and Rihanna, Kiss It Better. And it went viral. It went viral online. And then Fat Joe saw it and got together with him, and they put together this track. And it's just amazing. A viral video goes out, a DJ doing some mashups, and then, a big artist like Fat Joe gets involved.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. And it's funky. It's, you got the Rihanna lyrics. It's a happy song. It's just a happy song. Okay, here's another one. Hypnotize, Notorious B.I.G. That's actually sampled off a song from the late 70s, Rise by Herb Alpert. Yeah, do you know that tune?
I know the Hypnotize. I know that one. I don't know the sample, the original.
Oh yeah, if you look up the sample, it's that bass guitar kick underneath. That's what Hypnotize is pretty much made of. And it's funky and it's groovy and it's amazing. It's amazing how old songs can or even just new songs can be transformed into something completely different, and generally just make people happy.
What also I think is really special about it is from like the producer side of things. Like, as you mentioned, looking through the liner notes and picking out, let's say there's a particular someone who gets great drum sounds, right? That allows you to know that you could take, I know if I go to this particular drummer, Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters, great drummer, right? Or Nirvana. Maybe you love the way his snare sounds on a particular song. Well, that now, guys who are looking to pull a sample or remix or do something, they know, well, I'll take Grohl's snare and I'm going to take the kick drum from Skrillex and I'm going to take the vocal from Grimes and I'm just going to make this whole crazy thing out of it. And it's so incredibly creative. It's almost like a collage. It's an audio collage, really.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's great to see that sort of stuff happening. And there's some great creativity you can make out of just sampling things. Nothing's off limits, I would say. Nothing. Depending, it doesn't matter about genre, doesn't matter about the artists themselves. Get some heavy metal drums, get some cheesy pop lyrics, and maybe get some reggae in there. It could all work. And that's the great thing about music. You can take it from absolutely anywhere.
Do you find yourself that when you're hearing these sort of things, does it inspire you to want to do things like that? Or you just enjoy playing it at this point?
Look, it does really inspire me to do things like that. I think after a while of DJing, you kind of just want to get into more of a depth of music. And that's the stage that I find myself at now. I just want to know the mechanics of how these songs are coming together, you know, and really dig into the vocals and the drums and the guitar and all sorts of things. You know, you just get really curious, really curious. And, you know, if I was to get into a full-time thing of production, you know, it can also help DJing as well. You know, you get to present your music to the world, and it's awesome.
I think you'd be great at it, man. I mean, you're a very talented guy. So I think not if, but when that day comes, I think you're going to kill it.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. One day that day will come 100%. And you know what? You'll be the first one to send the tunes to, hey?
Awesome. Awesome. And if you need some guitars, I know a guy. Just say, you know, that's another thing too. It's like from the I guess sampling and then maybe remixing, blurring that together just for the sake of the statement. Getting the stems, right? Getting these pieces, like, you know, people are sampling things, and it's the technology has come so far where you can just literally take a little voice memo off of a recording. If you know, an archaic way, you don't have anything professional, throw it into Ableton or something, chop it up, get really in there, stretch it out, change the tempo without changing, you know, the pitch of it. Like, the technology has come so incredibly far that the access and the ability to do this is, like you said, just pretty much limitless.
Oh yeah, technology has come such a long way. And you know, if you look at people, well, producers in the '90s, I guess, and earlier on, you know, the stuff they had was a hell of a lot different. I once heard somebody say that, you know, a recording studio full of, you know, physical hardware, a lot of that can be replicated, you know, on a DAW like Ableton or FL Studio.
Yep.
So, you know, in some cases, you don't need to spend that large amount of money and take that time building up a studio of equipment. You can look at different ways. But that's not to say physical studio equipment isn't good. It definitely is. And I will definitely say that if you're able to invest in all that stuff, definitely do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because, like, I have, like, this piece of equipment here is like a guitar processor, and it's a Fractal Audio makes it. It's like professional grade. You can make any guitar sound in the world. You can move the microphone in front of the speaker, yet still behind me is 7 guitar amps, because it's like you need to find the different sounds and everything. And I think that, you know, probably connects into all of it. Whereas you could just sample something quick on your phone, but if you have, you know, really take it off the record or something like that, you know, an analog source, it's going to give you a cleaner piece of audio to mess with.
Oh, definitely. And you know, the possibilities are endless. You know, physical equipment, plugins, you know, use them all together. Use every resource you have and put them together, and you'll create something just beautiful.
Cool. All right, let's talk a bit more about you know, a day in the life of a DJ. So on gig day, you know, let's say your first set starts at 8 or 10. Let's say 10. Let's say it's a late night. If you start at 10, what time do you get there? Are you plugging into a house system? Do you have to have a PA system? What type of gear do you bring out with you?
Okay. So in my situation, I'm a club DJ. And with club DJs, they are walk-in, walk-out gigs. Nice. So the venue will have all the equipment. They will have the sound system. They'll have everything needed. My job is to bring the music, bring myself, my headphones, and any other little bits and pieces that I require. You know, it could be, you know, maybe I want to bring my my Zoom H5 recorder with me to record the set and listen to it later on. You know, maybe I want to bring some extra inputs and cabling for, you know, another physical device I want to bring. But the venues will always have the equipment and the sound system.
So they even have like the turntables and everything?
Yeah, or everything. Yeah, absolutely everything. So look, every venue is different. So you do need to check with what they have. Every venue will have a little bit of a different setup and a little bit of a different sound system and that. So, you know, it's always good to check. You know, if it's a regular venue, you know what they're going to have at the end of the day.
Is it just CDJs and a mixer standard?
CDJs and a mixer, yeah. Generally, it's a mixer. At the minimum 2 CDJs. A lot of venues will have 3 or 4. You'll have a booth monitor, which is either going to be a 12-inch powered speaker or something even bigger than that. And yeah, that's it. You'll have a lighting guy next to you as well. In the venues I play at, we have lighting guys.
Nice.
And they're there to work with you and make the atmosphere as awesome as possible.
Do they know what you're gonna like? Do you give them? Do you? Complicated question. Do they know what you're gonna play? Do you know what you're gonna play, or are you just feeling out the room?
Yes, yes, and no, and yes. So, does the lighting guy know what I'm going to play? No. If it's somebody I've worked with on a regular basis, they will have an idea as to how I play, what I play, and how I do things. What was the second question? Was it the crowd?
Do you have do you know when you walk in the door, I'm going to play these songs, or do you just kind of feel it out? And if the energy goes one direction, you can sway it different ways with different songs.
I feel it out. Look, I'll have an idea in my head. If I know these songs have come out recently, I know they're going to be absolute bangers to play. I'll have it in my mind. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. But if I then get to the venue and I feel as though the crowd they're not going to vibe to it, I just need to change direction straight away. And it's happened. This song is going to be awesome to play. It's top of the charts. It's gone viral online. Everyone's talking about it. And I get there and you just go, oh, no, not tonight. No, not tonight. Doesn't matter whether it's a commercial club or an underground club. What I've thought about is not going to work tonight. So I have to change direction.
I've had that happen, from performing. We stopped, honestly, we used to put together set lists and we stopped doing that. And it makes it kind of interesting when Sam and I play as more than a duo, when we have, drums and bass and other instruments with us, because we just call songs, because you just never know which way it's going to go. And I think that's fun. That makes it different every time. It's exciting because what's he going to play tonight? Come and find out.
Yeah, definitely. And, it makes you think as well,
right?
Because imagine if you were playing the same set list, almost every night, I guess there's the possibility you do get lazy.
Yes.
Yep, that'll definitely work. Let's just go along with that. And eventually crowds will just get bored. They want to hear familiar stuff, but they also want to be introduced to something new at the same time.
When you're doing a lot of the club gigs, is there other DJs after you, or do you close out the night? And if you do close out the night, do you end on an up song or do you wind the crowd down?
So generally there are other DJs on after me and before. In the case of tonight, it's Friday where I am at the moment.
Yeah, keep forgetting.
It's about 11:30 on a Friday here, 11:30 in the morning. And tonight's gig, I'm playing at a club called Spice Market tonight. And tonight I've been booked the whole night. So I'm doing about 6 hours the whole night. And it's a hip hop night on Fridays. So tonight it's all on me. I'll be warming up. I'll be getting them up slowly, and then I'll be making sure they have their hands in the air in the high bits.
Wow. And so when a band is playing, you play it. We would do like an hour and a half set, then we take a half-hour break, and then an hour set, then a half-hour break, and then a half-hour last set. But DJs don't get breaks between the sets, so you're just standing there playing music for 6 hours straight.
Yeah. I mean, look, unless you're a wedding DJ, it's a little bit different. Right. You'll have the night spread out, because at a wedding, you've got all sorts of formalities, and then you've got food that has to come out from a kitchen.
Yep.
And you can't have people dancing and jumping up and down whilst food's being served. Food gets cold. You don't want that at a wedding. So yeah, I mean, DJs in clubs, we just keep going the whole time.
It's funny you say weddings and with the food, because it's different when you're playing a club versus when you're playing a corporate thing or a wedding or something like that. And the pacing changes entirely. We had an experience where we were performing at a wedding. It was in like a barn, very rustic, and there was no point person between us and the venue. There was no wedding planner. It was just us and then the staff. And we were told after we did the speeches and everything else to tell the people that they could go, the first course is coming or something. So I announced that, I announced it, and then go to the back. And then I just look at the back of the room and everyone looks white as a ghost because they weren't ready yet. So the opposite. Yeah. We sent everyone to go eat when there was no food to eat. We should have played more music. So that's part of the gig, I guess. Has TikTok changed how people are finding music? Like, do you have to play all those annoying TikTok songs?
Well, it depends on where I am. And, this, you and Sam know this, but to everybody else, I am 100% an open format DJ. So my gigs can be completely different. I play very, very commercial, and then I play incredibly underground on a regular basis. So look, if we're in a commercial environment, playing those TikTok songs can get a great reaction, an absolute great reaction. And I've discovered a lot of tunes from TikTok, things that have gone viral. And, there's old songs that everybody knows, or a lot of an older crowd know, but they've been reintroduced to a younger crowd because they've seen it on TikTok. And I mean, one pure example of that is by Boney M, Rasputin. That went viral on TikTok a few months back, and I'm playing it everywhere. And people are requesting it. Young crowds are requesting it. And I've recently gotten some great remixes that have been done, and they're working beautifully.
Wow, that's again, just the infiniteness. We'll go with that one. The limit. I can't get that one either. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
of music, that something as old as new. You're playing the original, but then all of a sudden now there's remixes. So there's old, new version of the old, and then like 5 years from now, then it's a throwback of a song. Yeah. Already, it's just a giant circle. It really is.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's okay.
I was about to say it's great that you can introduce all sorts of music to a different crowd. Whether they're 18, 20, 22, or maybe 28 or 26 or 30s, 40s, 50s. It's great that you can introduce crowds to new songs. Yeah, it's awesome.
So you mentioned requests, and this is something that on a rock club gig or a cover gig you'd come across. There's certain big no-nos that the crowd will do, and I've seen some of your videos where there's just about 1,000 models all around you. Beautiful. So what are your top 5 don't ask me questions?
Don't ask me questions.
Or top couple. It don't have to be 5. Just something that drives you crazy when people ask it of you.
Look, nothing ever drives me crazy because I'm pretty chill. I like to think I'm pretty chill. And I won't get offended over anything. And I've had people try to offend me in the past, and I just look at them and laugh. It's just a comedic thing to me. I had one girl come up to me once and said, "Can you change a song? I don't like it." Oh. And I looked at her, and then I looked at the dance floor full of 500 people dancing and going wild. And then I looked back at her, and then I looked back at the dance floor, and I said, "No." And she goes, "Oh, but why?" I said, "Because no." And she kept going on and on. I said, "Because no." And then I put my headphones on and just kept doing what I was doing. And, security ushered her away. But, situations like that, although they're funny, you have to think to yourself, there's a lot of other people here besides you. Mm-hmm. We're playing to a whole room, not individual people. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you are. Again, commercial crowd, underground crowd, we're playing to a whole bunch of people. We're not catering to one person. It doesn't matter who that one person is at the end of the day. So, you've got to understand, you're not the only one here.
Yeah.
That was one question that was one thing that was said. Besides that, just, I don't mind getting requests. I don't mind at all. I find that It's a good way to figure out what people are thinking over time. And I absolutely do love it, because I've discovered some great stuff from requests that I didn't know about. But this crowd here have, listened to somewhere else and they absolutely love it. I don't mind requests, but what I find annoying is if I say no, it's for a particular reason. I know it's not going to work in this setting. I know it's not an appropriate song for this other reason. And when somebody says to me, but why? I'll politely say, oh, it's just not appropriate right now. And if people keep digging at me, like, it's not appropriate right now, it's not going to be played. They keep going, well, then headphones get put on and then security usher them away. So yeah, it's a funny thing.
It happens in the same way, a lot of the times when a band is playing, at a club, not so much, but maybe a bar or something like that, where there's not such a separation between the crowd and the band. The bouncer, the security, their responsibility is to stop fights and things like that, but it's not to protect, which is complete bullshit, but it's not their job to protect the entertainers, the entertainment. And many a time we've been performing and someone will just obnoxiously try and grab the microphone and sing or call out requests or get really, it's like you could play three requests, man, my tongue, 3 requests for them, but then we don't play that fourth. How dare you? People can become very, very selfish, but I like your response. Just look around. It's really what it is. Do you let people come behind the booth? Is that okay?
I do. I don't mind it. There's I have to also be a bit respectful of the venue as well. There are a couple of venues where they've said to me, listen, nobody else behind the booth except you and the next DJ. And, at the end of the day, you have to be respectful to the venue.
Sure.
And the owners, the venue managers, if those are the rules they have in place, you do respect them. But there's other venues where they don't mind, as long as they don't mind and I don't mind, as long as people aren't doing the wrong thing.
Sure.
If you want to dance behind me, that's cool. That's cool. But if you are, being a bit silly, waving your drink over the equipment and touching things, do not touch the equipment. Do not touch it at all. I don't care who you are. Then it becomes an issue, and then I'm going to tell you to leave.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's funny, man. People start drinking, they lose their minds. We had a gig we were playing, and we played like an hour and a half, a big, long, giant set. We took a break. And over the course of our break, a bachelor party or a bachelorette, or I think it was a bridal party. I think it was people who were wedding. They came to the venue. And there's the house music is playing, in between us, there's just like regular music, and they start grabbing the microphone and touching our stuff and like singing along to the music and like twisting the microphone on the mic clip, and like we had an iPad on the mic stand, and it's like I turned to the bartender, we're like, if any of that breaks, you're not going to pay for it. Stop them. And he's like, oh, they're having a good time, and it's like. Yeah, no good.
Yeah, it's when people are touching things that aren't theirs, they tend to be a lot more careless. I've noticed, and that's disappointing. Again, it's a bit selfish. If that breaks, it's not your responsibility; it's mine, or it's the venue's. I've always said this. If you're using somebody else's stuff, treat it as if it was your own. Yep. Have that respect for that other person, or even if a venue owns it. I'm very careful with the venue's equipment. I don't want it to break, but some people aren't. And I'll get on to some equipment and cue button's broken, play button's broken. The jog wheel isn't working correctly because somebody's decided to chuck a whole bunch of things on it and the springs underneath have messed up.
Yeah.
Pitch control missing, USB port bent. God, it's absolutely endless.
Those are all real important things, man. It's, if a band is playing and someone grabs a mic and tries to sing or something, they're not really going to derail the entertainment. They might get punched in the face, but with a DJ, if you spill a drink on, the equipment, the mixer, the music stops, the party stops like that. It's over.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't have that. Do you, are you emceeing at the same time? Are you let's go and all that stuff?
I'll jump on the mic a little bit as well. Yeah, not constantly, but I will jump on when I think it's needed. You know, I do believe that there is there can be a case of being on the mic too much with some people, and I think it needs to be done at the right moment, because although people want to be hyped up, and you know they don't mind hearing somebody on the mic, at the same time as a DJ, you know they just want to hear music too.
Right.
They want to dance to music, and they don't want to hear, you know, throw your hands up in the air every 10 seconds. You know, maybe give them one hype every now and then. But yeah, that's it.
That's smart, dude. I mean, you get it. You totally understand the purpose. It's refreshing, and I think for any of the students here at the school who watch this in the future, I think it's inspiring, because you just kind of just gave a little master class in how to make it work and be a professional, successful DJ. So I do appreciate that. Look, I'll give you a DJ sound. Ready? Yeah. All right. Ready to go.
That sound.
I got it. Check this one.
Excellent.
Those are my skills.
Those are yours. Did you research those for me?
You know, I don't know where they came. I know one of them is Bill and Ted, but I didn't pay the rights for them, so let's not tell anyone. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So normally at the end of the show, I like to do a series of rapid fire questions, sort of a this or that, but they're always like guitar related. So I really only have a couple for you.
Okay.
So coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Pancakes or French toast?
Pancakes.
Okay. Now here's the big one for you. What color Skittles?
You and Sam got that question together. I know. Hi, Sam. What color Skittles? We're gonna go with red.
That's the right answer, dude. That's the right answer. The hierarchy of the Skittle, in my opinion, goes red, purple, green, then everything else. That's how I feel.
It's great. It's great. We share the same views on that.
I see, and that's why we're friends. So for those who aren't understanding the inside joke, so what brought these Skittles into part of when someone comes to one of your gigs? How'd that happen?
The Skittles situation. Look, for people who don't know the Skittles situation, there's a venue I play at called the Village Bell, and it's a great venue here in Melbourne. And one night I was playing downstairs, and there was a couple of girls next to me, and they had a bag of Skittles. And these girls were just feeding me Skittles the whole set. And I was just like, I haven't had Skittles in such a long time. This is great. And then the next week, I was like, I feel like some Skittles. I'm going to buy a big bag and take them with me upstairs to the club upstairs. And then the crowd's watching me play. They're having a good time. And then everyone just wanted Skittles as well. And I'm like, I got a massive bag. I'm handing out Skittles to everyone. And now it's become a regular thing that I do on Saturday nights. I bring a bag of Skittles with me, and everyone just loves having some.
That's amazing. It's not to take it into a darker way, but people go out, people party, people get into things they shouldn't get into. And I love that Skittles are the thing that you are promoting. That is just light and positive, and compared to some of the other things, a healthier alternative. So that's good call, man. Good call.
Oh, definitely. It's a good snack at 2 a.m. in the morning as well, eh?
Yeah. So what time? All right. So then my closing question will be for you. How do you wind down? You've just had music blasting into your ears for 2 to 6 hours, and you're getting out of the gig, anywhere between midnight and I don't know when of the bars close in Melbourne.
Look, it depends on the liquor license of each venue. So most clubs, a lot of clubs, I would say 3 o'clock. Then you've got clubs that shut at 5. Wow. And beyond that, then you've got venues that close at 9. And keep in mind, the later we go, the fewer venues there are. Pretty much past 5 a.m., the fewer venues have that liquor license. Then we've got 9 o'clock clubs, and then we've got clubs that are they can sell alcohol 24 hours a day.
Wow, you guys live in paradise, man. In so New York State, it's 4 a.m. is when bars have to shut down. But like California, New Jersey, that's 2. 5, that's just amazing. And then, that's like 5 a.m. is when you're trying to find the diner around here. So so let's say you get out of a gig at 5 a.m. Like, do you go right to bed? Like, what is your first stop?
First stop, first thing to ask myself is, am I hungry? Yeah, I've had the Skittles. Am I hungry? And then it's time to go to a 24/7 Macca's. Sorry, that's McDonald's for you guys. We call it Macca's here. 24/7 McDonald's or a KFC that's open late. Any fast food that's open late. We've actually got a Greek restaurant here that's open till like 3, 4 a.m.
Wow.
And it's a traditional Greek restaurant, so that's always a good stop. Am I hungry? Yes, go get something to eat, and then just get an Uber home. And, you know, by the time I fall asleep, it's going to be at least another hour after. So, you know, a little bit of scrolling on TikTok on my phone, a little bit of going over the photos and videos from the night, and, you know, away we go. But look, if I'm not going home, and I think you might be a bit surprised about this, if I'm not going home at 5 a.m., I will go to the later clubs and watch my friends play and just dance.
That's awesome.
And I do need to have a nap during the day to be able to do that.
You know what, man? That's so cool, because there's camaraderie within the community and you're passionate about what you do. I've been in situations where I'll finish up like my 4th gig in a row, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I've played 3 hours each night. It's Sunday. We're breaking down our gear, and I grab my guitar and I start playing. And Sam's like, "What are you doing? Have you not had enough?" And I'm like, "I love it. I just love it. I can't help it." But the fact that you could be finishing your gig and then going to dance, you're passionate, man. That's great. I love that.
Yeah, it's great to be on the dance floor and dance. It really is. And, you know, when you're out, you meet great people. When I'm out DJing, I meet great people. When I'm on the dance floor, I meet great people.
Are you like a fist pump, beat it up the beat kind of guy, or what's your dance move?
Nah, I'm not really a Paulie D Jersey Shore kind of fist pumping guy, but I don't know, just grooving with my arms and my whole body, right? Just enjoying the sound and just moving in any way that makes me happy.
That's fantastic, dude. Wow. Well, I look forward to seeing the stuff you put out there. You know, I would love one day when the world is safe that we actually get to hang in real life somehow. That's, you know, if you're ever in the States, or I'd love to find my way over there, but I'm just excited. And then of course, thank you again. How we met each other, Christian played one of our songs. So thank you so much for playing that. We really appreciate that. Very much so.
No problem. It's a great song, guys. When I discovered it, I thought, I got to get in contact with these guys. I got to get in contact with them and see how they are and who they are, and you know, tell them well done.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Sam is asking, can you share a video from your phone? Can you hold something up to the camera so people can see you?
A video, so as in like from a gig.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just cleared out my phone the other day because there was no storage left.
It's all right. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Let me see. Here's a video from quite a while ago. Hang on one sec. Let me just grab this. I don't know if you can see that. Oh. That's one. I don't know if you guys could see it. Really,
yeah, that worked actually really well. Your background silhouetted around your screen, so it was like your screen, background, your face with like really cool depth, and then the background behind you. When you watch the replay, that looked so cool.
Oh, perfect. You know what? That video is actually on TikTok as well. So it's on my TikTok and my Instagram. So yeah, anyone check it out.
I will, as I repost this, I'll put, just text me your TikTok link too, but I'll put all that stuff on here and we'll get everyone to rewatch it. And dude, thank you so much. Hey, you're the first person I can say this to when I've interviewed him. Have a great gig tonight.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you. It's going to be a top night. I'm ready for it.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, keep doing what you're doing. You're killing it. And thank you so much for your time. And we'll see you real soon, hopefully.
Done. See you, man.
Boom.